What's up guys, Devin here from the Loserlands, here to bring you back with part 6 of Let's Play Cuphead, Don't Deal with the Devil. In the last episode, we got further along in Inkwell Isle 3, and now we are taking on Sally's stage play, and this is the last of the 4 fights I said to where it can be different depending on what you do. So during this section, obviously I don't do it, but if you were to stand on the angel statue, either on the left hand side or the right hand side, it will make that little centerpiece fall on top of the husband in the background, and you'll actually see him as an obstacle, or yeah, one of the figures you can actually damage in the third phase of this fight when you're in the afterlife section. Because now that we got through this first part, she will actually. So here, oh god, I'm getting like all mixed up. So here's me showing off the invincibility, not the invincibility, the third super, which is the spirit, but which I really don't like. So that's why I really don't like doing it. And also the transition will change because the husband won't be there to drive Sally away. At least I believe he won't be there to drive her away. So you won't see him in the opening part for this phase 2, where now we're trying to dodge both Sally's attacks and that of her children as they send these little wind-up rat things at you. And while Sally is throwing those as well. And they're also tossing bottles too. Honestly, like, it took a bit. I don't think she wasn't nearly as hard to get the parts down. And hers is, honestly, the main tricky part of this one is dodging her fans that she sends out and luring everywhere. And this part in particular, if you don't have the smoke grenade dashing ability, that's what makes getting through like the big wave a lot easier, because otherwise you kind of have to wait for the meteor to come back down, and you have to like time it so that you keep the star there, because as soon as you parry it, it's going to go away. So I would keep that in mind when you're doing it, in case you don't have that with you. Otherwise, you won't need to get through here. And oh my god, this super is honestly so useless, because you see, I have to kind of like maneuver it along with my body, and if I'm trying to focus on not getting hit, I'm actually going to accidentally bring the spirit with me on my side to avoid getting hit, and at the same time, it's not doing any attacking on her. So that's why I really don't like super number 3, and which is why I'm going to go back to 1 right after this fight, because it does not work out for me. Either way, that is it for Sally Saves Play. Not a bad end for her. Unfortunately for her, her whole family's watching her get beat up. So, yeah, that's something you want to show your children. So on that one, I think I got a C on this one, because I don't think I did too good. I could have did a lot better. Okay, I got a B. Never mind, I was too hard on myself. You did good, Tev. You did good. As always, guys, please let us know how your day's going down in the comments below. We love reading comments about everything and seeing how we're doing and interacting with you guys as best we can. And if you have a suggestion for another game or an idea you think we should do, we're always open to taking suggestions. Because otherwise, if we're just left alone, God knows we won't get anything done. Because we'll be just like so divided on, alright, we should do this or this or this, and then it's just all depend on that. So if you guys have any suggestions, please let us know, and it will help the content creation go by a little bit smoother, just because we'll have definite things like, alright, people really want to see this, so let's focus on getting stuff like this done. Anyway, now that Sally's done, I believe I go around and do the next running. No, I don't do next running gun. Instead, I take care of the Warner Warman. This is the mouse boss I was talking about, which is like a reference to Tom and Jerry, for the most part. He was actually pretty interesting. Whenever he shoots out these little tomato bombs, or really, it's probably better to call them cherry bombs, you kind of want to jump as soon as they impact onto the ground, because they'll shoot out a little fireball as they're coming along the center, along the horizon of the floor, that's what I have to say. And you get plenty of opportunities to parry here, so your parry should be pretty good. He does shoot out little like bubble gums that you can parry off of those, and dominoes to give you some extra leverage. Honestly, I think they're probably called springs. That'll make the most sense. That way you can actually like get a little bit higher, because unless you have the smokescreen dash yet again, you're going to be having a hard time getting over him unless you got enough height to make it over to the other side. As he transitions into phase 2 of his boss fight, he will rotate between the upper and lower pathways, shooting out a giant barrage of flamethrowers against each side, and he also has these bottle cap buzzsaw blades, peeking around, so you want to keep an eye on those too. And honestly, what I'm trying to do is be a little bit better on where I'm trying to position myself, because I don't want to be too far over to the right when he sends all of them out, because then they'll just easily get you. In transition into the third phase, he gets eaten by the cat, and now he had to take on the cat. While the center part of his head is going to be the big deal, whenever he sends out his paw on the left or right hand side of the screen, you want to start moving in the opposite direction, because it's going to kind of try to attack you over there. The other main thing that he does, his attack-wise, is send out these 2 mice ghosts to actually try to attack you. Honestly, I forget what they do. I think they shoot out a pink skull or something. Let's see what they do. A pink orb, that's what they shoot out that you can parry. And just like the cherry bombs, when it hits the ground, it will erupt 2 projectiles on the ground level, going in both opposite directions. Other than that, you just have to dodge the falling planks as he does that attack, and otherwise, it's not too difficult, and it turns out to just be wandering inside a cat mech all along. So that's yet another boss down for us. So now, going off of the checklist I saw prior, we took out 2 more, so we should have 1 more boss left, and 1 more running gun. So if I'm thinking correctly, we still have... Nope, that is right. We have 2 more bosses left and 1 more running gun. Because we got the Phantom Express, we have Dr. Karnoff, or however we pronounce it, and then we have the second running gun for this world. So, yeah, let's go ahead and take... Well, first... yeah, I was right. So 2 more bosses and 1 more running gun. Then we're done. And we can move on to the final world. The finale world. We're almost done, guys. Just literally, next part's going to be the finale episode, and we'll be able to finish it. So, Dr. Call's robot. This one has quite a few references built into it, depending how you go about it. So, it is a reference to Giant Robot, obviously the Iron Giant. The Doctor himself, when he gets to phase 3 of his boss fight, it's highly representative of both Dr. Eggman from the Sonic the Hedgehog series and Dr. Wily from the Mega Man series. And another one that also comes to mind too, design, it's kind of a mix between the Iron Giant and a lot like Bender from Futurama. So this particular fight, this one was the hardest for me. Let's be real. This one took me hours. This got me to the point where, okay, I need to stop playing for the day because I can't do this and I'm not getting anywhere. And Julian was with me while I was doing this. I'm like, I can't do this. I gotta stop because this is not working. As you transition into the second phase of this fight, he's going to be setting his head from left to right. And what you want to do is, as the head spirals through there, you want to get a few good hits in and get it to actually fall down so we can transition into the final phase of this fight while avoiding these skull bombs over here that when they get hit, they send out a giant electromagnetic current that erupts in like Dr. Call's image of his head. So, and when they explode, they do contact damage with the other ones too, so if you explode one next to another, they will actually both blow up. So you want to keep that in mind when you're going through here, and make use of maneuvering, and don't take too long to get rid of the bombs, otherwise you're not going to have much of an opening to actually attack the head when he does come back around. So now that we did that, it's fallen off, and now, this is the part that really pulls in the whole Dr. Robotnik, Dr. Wily thing, because how he attacks with this giant gem, it's relatively representative of the Chaos Emerald from the Sonic series, and this is what I mostly take out of it. So this part is what killed me the most, and why I could never get through it. But because it's not quite like Wally Warble's thing, where it's like a set up and down. These ones like kind of go in like literally all directions, and that's what's really tricky. So that's what I really struggled with when I was going through here. So otherwise, there's not too many other things to like really get to avoid him. All I can honestly say is know when to attack and when to actually like focusing on moving. because I probably could have got through this with those 2 health if I wasn't so heavily focused on I need to keep on shooting, because the sooner this is done, the sooner I can stop. But that is it for Dr. Kyle and his robot, as now we only have one more boss left to take care of, and then the one more running gun. This particular running gun was probably the most difficult for me to get a good grasp on, just because the beginning part of it is honestly really tricky to do if you are not familiar, if you're not open to learning. Like, if you see your mistakes and you know what it is and you actually don't want to fix it, that is what makes the beginning part of this really hard, because you gotta like poke forward, go back. Don't stay too close on the bottom, otherwise you're already get hit. Well, you'll see when I actually go through it. Which is, I think that's the next thing we do. Yep, so one more boss and one more running gun. And it's already over here, so let's go ahead and take on Rugged Ridge. Okay, for a second I thought I was like not going to press A. Like, come on, you got to do it at some point. No need to push it off. Alright, so the main thing with this one is those miners that we shoot, they will throw their pickaxes at you, and the way they got a good distance, but they also come back as soon as he throws it. So even if you kill them, they eventually come back and will do it all over again, and that's really annoying, because that means you have to peek forward, go back, and like dodge it before it actually comes back and hurts you. And this particular fight over here with this little catstone statue, you gotta focus on avoiding the pickaxe as well as getting shots in on him. And for this one in particular, I would highly recommend switching out your second shot to be, well, one being the chaser and the other being the spread shot, because while the goat guy is dead, I would switch over to the chaser, not the chaser, the spread shot, to actually do more damage onto the cat statue so I can get destroyed a lot faster. Because as soon as he yawns, he is going to be pushing us to the edge so we fall off. Into the second portion of it, we are on a moving platform, rapidly descending down, having to avoid these mudmen and some freaking Grim Matchstick Jr. babies over here shooting fireballs at us. And they do alternate between pink and red, so you just want to keep an eye out for those and avoid the mud monsters. As soon as you get to the bottom, they will go away. And now in this one, we have satyrs jumping out on us, and we have this whole gate thing that we have to destroy that shoots out ink blots that will kind of get in our way, but they do go in an arc. So if you just pay attention to when they're going to be high, easily just slip on through them underneath. The satyrs only take 1 hit of damage, and that's even with the weakened chaser. So that's not too bad to deal with. And now we got these like rock sphinxes to deal with again. So as soon as this is where like the spread shot really comes in handy. That way I can actually destroy it a lot faster than how I'm actually doing it right now. Other than that, these gates aren't too difficult. Thankfully this one had the satyrs popping up right in front of me, so I can just keep shooting and just not have to focus on anything. As we get to this final portion of it, we now have to do some extreme platforming, because as we get to a certain part, we are going to start being chased by a giant over here. So in this one, really the platform is what really matters. You don't have to worry about shooting anything else anymore, because those fireballs that you can shoot, I have honestly never seen them die. So I don't really think you can kill them. It's just a pointless thing to shoot at. I would just focus on landing on your platforms and getting to the end of this as safely and quickly as possible without getting hit, because I only got 1 more life left and I don't want to waste that hit point on some silly little fireball with some silly little face. Other than that, honestly, not that difficult, and we made it just in time. Honestly, I thought when that hand came down and like hit me, I thought, oh my god, I did not just die right here at the very end. But no, you can't get hit by that. You'll be perfectly fine. I do have to come back and do this one again just to get that 5th coin that I neglected to grab because I wasn't going to drop down and get hurt. And I didn't do that well on my parry, so I got a C on it, unfortunately. But I will get a better grade later on when I go to get that coin. But now that that running gun is taken care of, all that is left that we have to do is that last boss for Inkwell Isle 3, and I believe they are, it's called the Phantom Express. But before we go over there, go ahead and visit Pork Rinds and buy some more items so we can build up our little inventory. I would buy this, but I don't have enough, so I'm just going to say forget it. Let me just go ahead and buy these other things. I did mention I do get everything at the very end, so it's not like I don't have it. It's just that I prefer not to have the 2 extra hits, just because it's a bit more challenging to do it with your normal 3, and I like having my shots at regular power, even though I use the chaser 24/7, so it's already weaker. I don't want the hearts making it even more weaker. So now that we have that, we're going to go back to where we were prior to the start of episode 5, and come up to this very end. Now that we beat Sally's stage play, it will allow us to gain access to the final boss over here, because this is the last one we have to take on the tracks in order to get to the final world. So here is the Phantom Express in Railroad Wrath, or I think it's Wraith. It makes more sense for it to be Wraith because it has to do with Ghost. Alright, so this is yet another one to where the rest of the group was a little bit too loud while I was recording this, so I had to like switch over the audio with the actual soundtrack for it. So for this particular one, you can see on the ends of our little cart over here, if you parry onto it, it will push the cart either forward or backwards. For this first section, I primarily want to keep myself as far back as I can. That way I have more space to actually like dodge these eyeballs and get them destroyed before I get like hit up against there. And as you can see, the little pumpkins carrying the little like bars of soap, honestly, when they drop those down onto the pink candles, they will count as a parry too, to actually move it forward and move it back. So if you can like get it to like move you back to where you need to be, go for it. If they're going to actually screw you over and push you in a position where you don't want to be, take care of them right away. So for this next section, I want to move forward because the main body that we're going to be attacking is going to be the skull, wherever it's going to appear, and anywhere else is going to be slammed down by the hands. So as soon as you see the head pop up, move over to where he's at, focusing on shooting that area. The biggest piece of advice I can tell you, as soon as like he starts transitioning, like he pops back into the cars and starts switching it up, immediately go back to the center. Because if you're in the center, all you have to do is just use, alright, I need to go either left or right, and you'll be in a better position to move. Because say if you stick to the far right and he goes to the far left, now you gotta try to like parry that thing twice, and it takes a minute to actually build back up so you can move, and you're just gonna like increase your chances of getting hurt. So always go back to the middle when you're in this particular phase. As we move on to phase number 3, our main attacks are going to be from the left to right. So for this one, honestly, same thing, stick towards the middle, because each of the heads will like change when they're going to attack, and you don't know where it's going to come from. Mostly it alternates from left to right, so as soon as the right goes, you know the left is going to follow. So just make your way to go to the far of the opposite direction to where they're actually going to be attacking you, and they're going to be a-okay because you're going to avoid that attack really quickly and not get attacked. As soon as you deal enough damage to one head, it will start to die and evaporate, and as soon as you get both, it will move on to the final phase of this fight, to where we actually take on the main body of the train, which is the head, and it starts running on its own wheels like it's a dang racehorse. And to actually attack it, you need to parry its tail to reveal its heart, and then that's where you're going to be able to attack it. But you're also going to be wanting to pay attention to the fireballs it shoots out of its furnace, as well as the bone circles that it sends out as it goes across horizontally. Because that's what's really caught me off guard the first time I was doing it. Because as you can see, I'm not doing any damage to him right now because the heart is not exposed. So expose it as soon as you can, keep getting all your shots in, avoid the fireballs, and that is it for the Phantom Express and the last boss for Inkwell Isle 3. So with him defeated, we can now go on to the final world and take on that no good King Dice and take on the devil himself. So with that is going to be it for today's video, guys. Thank you for watching this episode of The Loser Lounge Plays Cuphead, and in the next episode, we'll go on to the final world and take on the last 2 bosses of the game, and I will show you both the good and bad ending of Cuphead Don't Deal with the Devil. So, as always, if you guys liked the video, leave the video a like, give the video a comment, all those good things I normally say on my channel, not on this channel, and I will see you guys in the next one. So, till then, look at my nice report card, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So take care, everyone.